Boom. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine, little darlings. It's another glorious Marine Corps morning. April the 26th. It is Friday, April the 26th. Can you believe it? We're almost to the end of May. And so let's get our Bible, if you would, this morning. We're going to give you a couple of minutes to log on. And we're going to be in 2 Kings chapter 6. 2 Kings chapter 6. Let me see if I can get you guys dialed up here now on this iPad. All right. So here we go. All righty, guys. Rise and shine. Let me see if I have these captions coming up. I don't have any captions coming up right now at the time, so we'll see. I don't know if I turn them off or I just can't see you guys' comments or logging on. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm not going to fool with it this morning. Just hello to all you guys that are here and that I can't see. Hallelujah. Whatever it is. Whoever you are, God bless you. Thank you for being here. Ask you to share the reel here, share the post, share the video. We're going to be in 2 Kings chapter 16. 2 Kings chapter 6. And we're going to be starting with verse 8 here. So when you get your Bible and get it open, get your cup of coffee. And again, I wish I could see all of you guys post, but I can't. So I don't know why. Maybe it's something on my iPad that got clicked, and we'll fix it in the not too distant future. So we'll see how all that goes. Let me see if I am sending it there. So let me see the comments here. That's kind of odd that I don't have the comments up and playing. We'll see. Anyway, wish you guys were there. Can't see you, but thank you for being here again. Hope all is well with you guys. We're getting ready to get started. All right. All right, so let's get our cups up. Toast to you in the Morning Word crowd. God bless you and God bless America. Go County High. Tusco High. Many years ago. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 8. So if you have your Bible, we ask that you join with us and read and listen. And we want to give a shout out to our school teachers at the end of the week. And you only got about 3 more weeks or less there to you guys have school and be getting out and graduating. And glad for all of our seniors of the 24 class. And hope you guys have a great end of your week here. So here we go. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 8. Now the king of Syria, his name is Ben-Hadad. Now the king of Syria was making war against Israel, and he consulted with his servants, saying, My camp will be in such and such a place. And the man of God sent to the king of Israel, saying, Beware that you do not pass this place, for the Syrians are coming down there. Then the king of Israel sent someone to the place of which the man of God had told him. Thus he warned him, and he was watchful there, not just once or twice. In other words, this happened several times. And therefore the heart of the king of Syria, Ben-Hadad, was greatly troubled by this thing. And he called his servants and said to them, Will you not show me which of us is for the king of Israel? He had a rat, he thought, in his camp. And he wants to know, how does the king of Israel know my every move? Okay? And one of his servants said, None, my lord, but Elisha, the prophet, who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the words that you speak in your bedroom. So he said, Go and see where he is, that I may send and get him. And it was told him, saying, Surely he, that is Elisha, is in Dothan. Therefore he sent horses and chariots and a great army there, and they came by night and surrounded the city. And when the servant of the man of God arose early and went out, there was an army surrounding the city with horses and chariots. And the servant said to him, that is Elisha, Alas, my master, what shall we do? So he said, Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray, open his eyes that he may see. Then the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. So when the Syrians came down to him, Elisha prayed to the Lord and said, Strike the people, I pray, with blindness. And he struck them with blindness, according to the word of Elisha. Now Elisha said to them, This is not the way, nor is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom you seek. But he led them to Samaria. That's the capital city of the northern kingdom of Israel. Israel was divided into two sections. The northern kingdom, which were 10 tribes, and the southern kingdom, which was Judah and Benjamin. So Elisha is ministering in the northern kingdom, and all they had was bad kings. But here he is leading the king of Syria and his troops, blinded, into the capital city of Israel. Now, verse 19, Now Elisha said to them, This is not the way, nor is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man you seek. But he led them to Samaria. So it was when they had come to Samaria that Elisha said, Lord, open the eyes of the men that they may see. And the Lord opened their eyes, and they saw, and there they were inside Samaria. Well, the story goes on. The king of Israel wanted to kill them all. And Elisha says, No, you can't get the credit for this. God did this. And the reason God did this was because even though the king of Israel was a sorry, no good, low-down pagan joker, and the king of Samaria was a sorry, no good, low-down pagan joker, God did this so that both sides, both Israel and Syria, could see that who God was, and that God's hand was in this. And so that both would know that the Lord, He is God. That's why He did this. And so Elisha told King Ahab, You're not going to take credit for this. God did this. So they fed the army and set them free. And it says that the Syrian raiders no longer came into the land of Israel for many, many years. Long after that king, Ben-Hadad, had died, another king arose before they ever came back into that land. So God accomplished the mission. But here's the point. It's just Elisha, and it's just his servant. And the entire city where they are is surrounded by the Syrian army and the king of the Syrian army and his army. And so when the servant comes outside and sees that, he goes, Oh, snap, we're in trouble now. There was just hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of chariots and soldiers from the Syrian army. And they came, bless God, to put an end to the insider information that the prophet Elisha was sharing with the king of Israel. They came to put an end to that. So immediately upon seeing what was evident, the servant said, We in trouble. Randy's paraphrase. We are in trouble. He goes on to say, Alas, my master, what shall we do? And Elisha said, Do not fear. Watch this now. For those who are with us are more than those who are with them. To which the servant would have immediately, if he had been Randy Fuller, would have looked around and go, Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. All I see is the Syrian army. But what Elisha knew, and he knew by faith, was that God was with them, and that God was up to more than meets the eye. That's the morning word, more than meets the eye. God was working, and God was with them, and the human eye could not see it. And only when Elisha prayed and asked for God to open the eyes, meaning let him see into the spirit realm the actuality of the spiritual forces that you have marshaled for us right here. And when God allowed Elisha's servant, to see spiritually and not just physically. He was able to witness. It says that the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around them. There were more angelic forces, fighting forces, mounted forces in the spiritual realm that was stationed there and marshaled there on behalf of Israel, on behalf of Elisha and the servant. They were there, but you couldn't see them with your eyes, these eyes. All you could see with these eyes was the enemy. But Elisha was looking with his heart, and Elisha asked God to let his servant see what he knew to be true in his heart, and that is that God was with him and the forces were there. And of course, he did. Now here's the lesson. God is up to more than meets the eye, than the eye can see. We see protests in growing numbers of universities and colleges in the United States. That's just to reveal to us how woke and how backward and how liberal and how socialistic and don't get me started. These people don't even know what they're protesting about, but it's just growing. The sentiment for anti-Semitism is growing. These people don't understand that when they come out against Israel and in favor of Hamas, that they are actually promoting and supporting Islamic Jihad, which is war against the West, America, Europe, and against Israel. The purpose of Islam is to conquer its opponents, to conquer its foes by force, break them. And don't think that, listen, it's not happening just in the Middle East. The Muslims are taking over France, Germany, England, all of Europe. They're taking over by birth. I mean, they are becoming the overwhelming majority, and they have a desire to conquer the world. Not all of them, but the predominance of the radical ones will force the ambivalent ones to acquiesce, to give in. And now that's in the United States of America. We have it in our big cities, Detroit. Our president is trying to capitulate to the Palestinians so that he can win the Palestinian vote in Michigan, to win the state of Michigan so he can remain president. That fool doesn't know that they would kill him tomorrow if they knew they could take over the country. But he can't see that. But I said all of that. I got into the political portion of that to say this. We see war in Israel. We see war in Ukraine. We see the United States pulling out of all the North Africa countries. We see the proliferation of nuclear weaponry and the threat of it in North Korea. We see China's economy collapsing and their army growing and their cyber warfare already acknowledged by the United States that they're poised to wreak havoc into our infrastructure, cut off our water, cut off our power, which, by the way, you need to be thinking about that. And so we see all those things and we go, wow, we in heap of big trouble, as Tonto would say. And what we need to see is that God, behind the scenes, is at work, and he's doing more than meets the eye. It doesn't look like, even though there are fronts of resistance and fronts of conservatism and strong fronts and strongholds of Christianity, there's just pockets of it. And we say, well, at least all is not lost. But it looks like the predominance of the world is turning against all that is right and righteous, all that is against freedom, capitalism, so forth and so on, and all that is America, the West, and Israel. But God is up to something, and God is up to more than meets the eye. God is working his sovereign work, and he is moving nations. Here he was moving the army of a nation. He was moving a king. He took a king and his nation. He took them captive and made them prisoners and never fired a shot. He did it with an angelic host. Something like this happened the other day. We think that Israel and the United States and all of the some of the Arab allies, unspoken Jewish allies of the Arabs, like Saudi Arabia and Jordan and some of the others. We think that our prowess did that. Let me tell you something. We're not that good. God was in the middle of that. I'm talking about like 99% capture rate and interception of over 400 ballistic missiles and drones. That didn't happen. We're not that good. God is in control. God is ruling and reigning. Now they have a thing where they want to arrest Netanyahu. That's going to be fun to watch. I say that facetiously. But my point is, we look around and we see the demise and of all that's good and right and righteous. I'm talking about from transgenderism to BLM to pro-Hamas to anti-Israel to the division of this country to the prosecution of President Trump for the last 4 years by a radical, weaponized Department of Justice, and it's all getting its direction from the White House. That's getting its direction from Obama, and we see all of this, and the tendency is to say, "Man, we're done. I mean, this is it." But God is at work. Now, He's not just working behind the scenes on the geopolitical world stage, but He's working behind the scenes in your life. He's working behind the scenes in my life. He's working behind the scenes in our schools and in our city. God always has a remnant, and God always has the resources that He needs to accomplish His will. Now, we need to look by faith like Elisha did, and not have to see it with our eyes to know that God is at work and that God is for us, and there's more with us in the spirit than there is with them. And we need to live our lives confidently that even when we can't see it, God's forces, God's angels, God's army is with us and for us, and God is doing more behind the scenes than meets the eye. And it's all going to be good. It's all going to be good. Going to go through some rough times. Going to go through some extremely hard times. People are going to suffer. They're going to suffer. But don't let that make you lose confidence and hope that the victory is ours. God is going to work His plan, and God is going to accomplish His purpose. And God is for us and not against us. So don't you lose your hope. Don't you let what you can't see escape your faith. I say this all the time in my prayers. Lord, help me not to forget that with you all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. And that God is for us and not against us. And so we need to keep the faith. We don't need to see it. We don't need to go around looking for signs and wonders. We just need to trust that God is working even when we can't see it. And His plan is going to be accomplished. And His will be achieved. And there's more on our side than there is their side. We just have to trust God that what we can't, even when we can't see it, He's still working. Hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday, good Lord willing, and the saints don't rise.